everyone, welcome back to another episode of Strong in the Saddle. I am your host, Katrina, and I haven't recorded a podcast in a very long time. The last week's episode I recorded in the middle of February because for those of you who do not know, I'm a public accountant and tax season here runs from about the middle of February until April 30th. So before that, all of those episodes that are within that time span, I pre-record, pre-edit. They are all lined up and preset to release on each week during tax season, so I don't even have to worry about it. So it has been a very long time since I recorded an episode, and today is May 5th, so happy Cinco de Mayo. I am so grateful that tax season is over because it was brutal. Like, I don't think I've ever had a tax season drag on that bad before. And this was, I think, like my 11th tax season or something like that. And I'm definitely still recovering from it. So if I look a little tired, if I sound a little tired, if I look a little disheveled, that would be why. I was exhausted, and to be quite honest, I am still exhausted. I'm trying to wean myself off caffeine because I was definitely very highly caffeinated to get through that very long season of tax season. But that is neither here nor there. Let's get into today's episode. In last week's video, I had mentioned that my plan was to do up a list of things to do with my horses while I was in tax season, so that when tax season was over, I would have this handy dandy list of things that I would be doing with my horses. My plan initially had been to write one item down for each day of March and April. So by the end of it, I would have 61 goals. But as I started doing that, obviously the things that I could think of that I wanted to do with my horses, it started getting harder and harder to come up with new ones. And it also just started looking very, very intimidating because if you have 61, even moderately ambitious things that you want to do with your horses, like, that's a lot of stuff to get done. So I filled a whole page. I got down to the end, so I filled up every line of this page, which ended up being 25 items, which even that, it feels a bit like a lot, but I mean, it's not like it all needs to be done right away, so I'm sure I can get most, if not all, of these done. So let's start going through this list. So the first thing that I put on here was to join Strides. So Strides is a program that Emily Newcomb has. It's a monthly membership as far as I know, and just learn how to ride and work with your horse. To be honest, I'm a little on the fence. I have wanted to join it on and off for quite some time now, so I'm thinking maybe I should just bite the bullet and just do it. Yeah, that's number one. I won't say much about that. I will let you know if I join and if it's something I would recommend. I do really like Amelia Newcomb. She does have a YouTube channel that is phenomenal, which part of me is like, if I really took the time to just like watch a video and then implement what that video showed, I think that would get me a long ways without actually having to invest in a program. I think it's like $45 US a month. Don't quote me on that, but I think that is. So that would end up being like, I think like $60 or so for me. A little bit pricey, but I need to think about it. We'll think about it. The next one is to groom every day. So one really hard thing about tax season is there's stretches of time where I have zero time to work with my horses at all. I literally have time to go to the barn, get them fed, make sure that they're all good, and then that's it. That's it. So during that time, obviously we're coming into spring and they start shedding, and my horses from time to time looked horrible. Like, I was so embarrassed. I was like, if anyone came here and saw the way my horses look, like, oh my gosh. So now I'm like, my horses need to be groomed every day. So I've already been doing this, and this is going to continue indefinitely. Groom my horses every day. The next item on my list is to go to a clinic. So I haven't been to a clinic in 2 years. In 2022, I went to 2 different reining clinics, and they were both really good. The one trainer I know is having another similar clinic in August, which I could go to. I also really want to I want to do a Liberty clinic somewhere. I would also really like to do a Jonathan Fields clinic. I know he occasionally has one at a location that's like 40 minutes from here. I've been reading his Liberty book, and I absolutely love it. I'm definitely on the Jonathan Field train at this moment. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm probably going to need to make a decision on that sooner or later, because obviously you need to like get on the list that you're going to participate in the clinic, and ideally I want it within the months of May through September at the latest, just so I'm not dealing with potentially crappy roads, right? So go to a clinic. Number 4 is to compete. So I have a little bit of a wrench thrown into this one. The association that I had intended on competing in, as soon as tax season was done, I went online to like look up the clinic dates, so I kind of know what my schedule is looking like, what I need to plan for, when me and Diesel need to be ready. And the first post on this association's Facebook page said, no show dates this year. No shows, which, like even now I'm just like so upset about it. There was no reason given for why there's no shows. I'm guessing it's a combination of not enough participation by people actually competing in the shows in past years, as well as not enough volunteers to run the show. And I believe one of the like key ladies in the group, I believe she's having medical problems. I'm not 100% sure, but just that combination of things means there's no shows. So I'm gonna have to look for some potential different locations. I know 2 years ago I did compete at a different association about 2 hours south of here, which it's a little further than I wanted to go. Like, these shows that I had been planning on going to were only half an hour away. 2 hours on a very, very, very busy highway is a little bit different. We'll see. So I still would like to compete at least once this year. Plans on that are a little bit fuzzy at this moment. Number 5 is to take a riding lesson. So I have no idea who I would want to take a riding lesson from, what I would want them to teach me. Like, I don't know, like, do I want the reining thing? Want reining training? Do I want maybe some, like, Western dressage? Do I want a Liberty lesson? Just plain old horsemanship? I do not know. I have given this zero thought at this point. But at the time when I wrote this, probably back in late February, I thought it was a good idea. So, I don't know. We will see. Number 6 is to use a horse health care tracker. So I think I talked about this in one of my episodes where I was talking about, it was the one where I had started out talking about how Fallon Taylor gives her horses filtered water, and how I just wanted to take better care of my horses, maybe not to the extent of filtered water, but just better care. And that would be just like being more precise with their health care. I haven't looked into this. I honestly think it's going to end up just being some sort of like Google Doc, Google Sheet, just being like, these are the farrier trims, this is the dewormer date, what kind of dewormer I use, that sort of a thing. I'm sure there's lots of apps and spreadsheets and PDFs and whatever else, but I honestly think just some sort of spreadsheet will work for this. Number 7, I have already it's done, dusted, put it away. Attend the horse expo. So on April 28th, I made it a goal during tax season. I'm taking April 28th off. We're still in tax season. I'm taking it off to go to the horse expo. And we did. So I have checkmarked that one off this list. So that's good. Number 8 is to vaccinate my horse. I feel like this is kind of silly to put on my list, but it needs to be done, especially if I'm going to be taking Diesel anywhere. He needs to be vaccinated, so that will get done sooner than later. Number 9 is to deworm. I have the dewormer in the garage ready to give them. I'm just kind of waiting for like the last frost to happen, which I'm sure we're pretty much there, and then they can get dewormed. Okay, I have not gone through this list in a very long time. Number 10 is to have a session with a riding psychologist. I totally forgot that I put this on here. I have dealt with fear quite a bit with my riding. I would say it's better in a sense with Diesel because he does not spook as much as Junior does. But at the same time, I do not know Diesel quite as well as I know Junior, because obviously I've had Junior since 2006. Like, I know Junior as much as I know myself at this point. I have had fear. And especially if you put me in a competition setting where some were different, Diesel's not quite seasoned yet, I feel like some sessions with some sort of riding psychologist could be helpful. Some sort of like sporty psychologist kind of deal. Yeah, I totally forgot that I put this on the list. That's kind of funny. Next is to read my Liberty book. So several episodes back, I had showed you guys that I was reading Jonathan Field's Liberty book. Since I did not read a lot of it during tax season, I don't think I picked it up at all. Actually, it literally sat on our kitchen counter and collected dust. But since tax season is done, I have been diving into that book. I sat on our deck in the sunshine yesterday and just read that book, and it's so good. So I will have no trouble checking this one off the list because I am absolutely loving this book. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to put the exercises into practice with Diesel and probably with Junior, to be honest with you. And like I said, I'm definitely a fan of Jonathan Field. I definitely plan on buying other products that he has for sale. I think he has some DVDs and stuff like that, which seems so old school, but I would very likely, buy more of his stuff and definitely attend one of his clinics. Number 12 is to teach Diesel flying lead changes. This has been on my list for a while, particularly last year, and we definitely did not succeed. However, I am confident we will get it done this year because I have been doing a lot of groundwork with him where I have him loping on a lunge line and then get him to turn and go the other direction fairly quickly. And when we initially started training that, I would turn him and he would get on the right lead, the correct lead on the front, but the incorrect lead on the back. So he would be cross-firing, and it would take all that we would have. Like, I would basically be chasing him around trying to get him to like lift up his butt and get that lead changed from the back. Now he is substantially better with his leads. Like, it is noticeably different and noticeably improved on how he is with his leads, which I think is going to directly transfer to the saddle when I'm asking him, because that was our problem, was I could potentially get him to change in the front, but the back, which ideally when you're doing flying lead changes, you want it to start in the back and then get it in the front. So I really think once, we're a bit more conditioned and I'm just feeling less of a monkey on his back from having such a long time off, that getting that flying lead change under saddle will come much easier than it would have a year or 2 years ago. So I'm actually really excited to try some flying lead changes on him. Number 13, take a continuing education course at Olds. So I live in Alberta. Olds College is very well known for its ag programs. It is basically an ag college, and they offer continuing education courses. I've been looking at like the first aid one. I am wondering if they offer a farrier like weekend course of some sort, because I am having such a hard time with farriers. Don't even get me started. That I would like to know how to do a bit of farrier work on my own. So yeah, I would like to take some sort of continuing education course at Olds. I'll keep an eye on the schedule. Ideally, I would like to leave this till it's not as nice outside, and then I can go down there, spend a weekend when the weather's crap, and yeah, just learn something new. Number 14, clean my tack. 2 years ago, I was showing my tack was fairly clean. I haven't cleaned it since. I keep a cover on my saddle, but like my cinch has never been cleaned. My saddle pad hasn't been cleaned in a very long time. I haven't oiled my headstall and reins. Like, I need to do this bad. Number 15, ride Diesel bareback. So I have no idea if anyone has ridden Diesel bareback, and I personally have not rode Diesel bareback. I feel like that's like, we need to do that. Like, I would ride Junior bareback from time to time. He's so freaking tall that like I can't just like hop on him and la-di-da. I could do that with Diesel. I don't know how Diesel would react with me trying to like monkey onto his back. Junior didn't care. I'm sure Diesel wouldn't care either. But Diesel's also short enough where I could probably just give like a good leg swing and get on him. But I just feel like, yeah, I need to ride my horse bareback. Could need to do that. Number 16, get Junior in condition. So Junior looked like a hot mess when spring started first coming and he was shedding out. Like he was just rolling in the crap of our like the dirt and just hair everywhere, and just, he looked so bad. And he's also like extremely deconditioned. His top line is starting to sag. He has poor muscle tone. His cardiovascular endurance and fitness is just terrible. He's retired, I know, whatever. But I do want him, I feel like I need to be taking a little bit of time with him to just get him a bit conditioned. Just, he'll be 24 this year. He does have a past injury that could potentially limit what we can do, but until we get there, I think I really need to take the time to try and get him in a bit better shape. 17, learn how to make Diesel's feet tougher. So the first year that I had Diesel, things were fine because I had shoes on him all summer. And then I pulled his shoes at the end of the season, and the ground got kind of hard because it froze. And that first trim after, Diesel was very, very tender-footed, and I realized it's because the soles of his feet are very thin. And the vet who did the pre-purchase exam on him, that was the only thing that she noted about him as not being great, is his feet and his soles being thin. Well, his hoof is fine, it's just that underneath his soles are thin. So he gets ouchy if you trim him too short. And I want to try and do some research to figure out, is there a way to make him a bit tougher on his sole? Like the easy option is just to tell my farrier not to trim him quite as short. But then I also need the farrier out here more frequently because he's not trimming him as far back as he is with, say, Junior, who has very tough feet. So I want to try and see if there's something like either something I can physically put on the hoof or diet-wise or training-wise. Yes, a lot of it is genetic. It is just genetic. Junior does not have that problem, but I want to know if there's things I can do to help with his genetic baseline is what I'm trying to get at. Number 18, regularly condition feet. So towards the end of April here and into May, it's been very, 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 very dry, very dry. We did get a good dump of snow and some rain and stuff a few days ago, but it is dry. And so like for the first 3 days after tax season, I conditioned their feet every single day. And I bought more conditioning treatment for their hooves, and I plan on putting that on them. I think the product said 2 to 3 times a week you can use it. I'll have to double check, but I'm going to be very, very diligent about conditioning their feet because Diesel ended up with some issues last year with some sand cracks, and Junior's feet basically fell apart last year because it was so dry. So definitely want to stay on top of that this year. 19, bathe Junior and Diesel once per month as able. So again, when I was showing Diesel regularly, not a problem, he was getting bathed regularly. They haven't been bathed in a while. I don't even know why I put this on here. Like, horses do not need to be clean like we do, and they don't like being clean. Like, as soon as I give my horses a bath, I let them dry off. If I let them go in the pasture, the first thing they do is roll. They do not like being clean. So I don't know, I think it's me, just a vanity thing, wanting my horses to look fancy. We'll just leave it at that. Okay, number 20, I need to cross off the list. So it was to do Amelia Newcomb's sitting trot challenge. This started on May 1st, so I'm already out. I can't even do it if I wanted to at this point. I decided not to do it because she had a few webinars talking about the sitting trot, and I feel like it felt very, very much so English rider oriented. I ride Western, and sitting trot or like a jog is like, it's what we do, right? Like, I would say the majority of people who ride Western do not post, we jog, whereas it's opposite for the English people, right? And so they have a lot to learn about a sitting jog. I'm not saying Western people can't learn from a sitting trot challenge. I just felt like it's not where I'm at right now, so I took a pass on that. Number 21, however, is to watch Amelia's weekly videos, and that goes back to number 1. I really think I can get a lot of value out of her videos if I just take the time to watch them and then go out to the barn, take Diesel to the arena, and actually put it into practice. So I really, really want to be intentional about doing that this year. Number 22 is to read the Core Conditioning book. So there's a book, the author's first name I think is Simon, and some Italian last name, and it's Core Conditioning for Horses, I think is the title. I've wanted that book for a really long time. I just haven't ever bought it. And this kind of ties into getting Junior into shape, but also getting Diesel into shape. So I think once I'm done the Liberty book, I'm going to buy this book. It is on Amazon. I think it's like $42 Canadian, which isn't expensive for a book. I'm sure there's a lot of valuable information that I'll continue to go back to, so I'm sure it's worth the purchase price. Number 23 is kind of funny. This is specifically what I wrote. Teach Diesel the prancy in hand thing. The prancy in hand thing. I don't know what it's called. You see riders do it under saddle in dressage, but there's a lady that I occasionally see on Instagram Reels do it. She has her horse in hand and they do the thing where they like prance in place. It's not, is it called Piaffe pirouette? I don't think those are right. Does it start with a P? It's the prancy thing. You guys know what I'm talking about. I want to teach Diesel how to do that. Moving on. Number 24 is to buy my AEF membership, which I did that at the Horse Expo. They had a booth. So AEF is the Alberta Equestrian Federation. So with some of the, like, I needed to compete in the association that I wanted to compete in that is no longer having shows, I needed an AEF membership. I also get like emergency surgery insurance for my horses through them and TAC insurance through them. So that was kind of important to get that. So got that. And number 25, the last goal on this list, teach Diesel sliding stops on the lunge. So I was, again, on Instagram Reels, I saw a guy lunging his horse, and he had that horse like sliding stop on the lunge, which I have started the like baby steps of teaching Diesel this. We are at the walk, just teaching him that when I say whoa, I want you to stop where you're at. I don't want you to turn to me. I want you to stop on the lunge path. Stop immediately. So we're starting that at just the walk. It's very, very boring work, I will say, but I think, you know, once we get up to the faster gaits, it'll be really cool to see if I can get him to like do a sliding or like a very abrupt stop on the lunge. I think that'll be really, really cool. So that is kind of, that's what I'm going to be up to the next several months. Yeah, let me know what you think about my list. If there's anything that kind of intrigues you, or maybe a vlog that you would like to see, or just a podcast episode that you would like to hear more about one of these specific items, please let me know. Be sure to follow me everywhere at Strong in the Saddle. And until next time, remember, it's always a good day to ride.